Welcome to Legends of Kansas, where I uncover stories that have been told or have yet to be told. Here I am today at the Crawford County Historical Museum, which holds the largest artifactual collection in southeast Kansas. I'm here today to discover the histories and mysteries behind Crawford County, and especially Pittsburg, Kansas. This shovel was donated by Wilkinson Inc. in order to create a permanent symbol of the southeast Kansas coal mining heritage. McNally Pittsburg Inc. was responsible for the relocation and renovation of the shovel to its present location. It was used in the mine fields down near West Mineral and as well as around the surrounding area. As not a big shovel, it's actually really tiny compared to our last episode where we had Big Brutus. Compared to Big Brutus, this thing is pretty tiny, but it can still hold its own weight. We're gonna go take a look inside the shovel. Here we have a quick peek inside the shovel itself, and you can see the levers that were actually used to make it go back and forth. Now this was not an electric shovel, it was a coal steam shovel. Here's a better look at the gears inside this coal steam shovel. And we're gonna just do a quick walk around to see what it's like. Now here would be the view of the actual operator. He could see outside to the boom, and there's the boom leading up, and right here is the cable winch used to lift up and down the boom. That's where they would probably put the coal inside to get the machine running, to keep it warm. It probably got really hot inside the machine, and there was no air conditioning in this machine. Until the last quarter of the 20th century, women were restricted to what jobs they could respectfully hold. They could be nurses, secretaries, teachers, or they could exploit their housekeeping and handicraft skills. Making money to support the family was man's work. So women had limited opportunities in the job market. This became very evident during the Great Depression. Even so, when the Works Progress Administration opened up, women were given jobs to make dolls as visual aids for museums, libraries, and classrooms. The women were paid about $50 a month, and many a household, particularly African Americans, benefited from the government employing artisans as well as laborers in the WPA. Many of the dolls were dressed in ethnic costumes that represent a variety of countries, plus historical attire for notable personalities from the past. The dolls were made of plaster, paper mache, and cloth. The international figures often come in pairs, dressed as men and women, and usually stood about 10 to 12 inches tall. Today, WPA dolls sell for hundreds of dollars and are not always easily to find. Most of these dolls are products of the Midwest states and are located in museums today. The Crawford County Historical Museum actually has a collection, a very sparse collection of the WPA dolls, and here they are. During the early stages of the creation of the Earth and during the Jurassic and Triassic periods, we had plenty of dinosaurs and mammals later on during the Ice Age that were created. And here we have some of the fossils from such the cataclysmic event that brought about an end to most of these. And there's a buffalo skull fragment here. You have some fossils that are possibly from a mammoth. And you have a skull there up top from a large fish that used to swim in the Cretaceous interior sea that used to flow through Midwest U.S. during the Cretaceous period. To learn more about the exhibits in Crawford County Historical Museum, we talked with Amanda Minton, an adjunct history teacher in PSU's Department of History, Philosophy, and Social Sciences, who has volunteered at the Crawford County Historical Museum.
Our current exhibit, which runs now until the end of the year, our theme is 1940s. As you can see, we have our military exhibit, which focuses on Spain's involvement. We have our World War II, our Army uniforms. We have a Gold Star flag, which, fun fact, this is one of only 500 Gold Star flags that were made in World War II.
Here you have some camouflage mesh that was used to hide the soldiers during the war, that keep them safe so that the enemy wouldn't see them as easily.
If you follow me, we can go through our military exhibit. We have our Navy exhibit. We also want to put emphasis on the women's role during World War II.
This Civil War cannon was manufactured and built in Seville, Spain in 1806. It was used in the Civil War. Either the Confederates or the Union used it, but it was one of the pieces of artillery that was used during the Civil War.
Many people that served during World War II in Crawford County, Miss Heston, and all of our posters that gives information about the women's role. We have information about more fun facts. For example, wedding dresses. Fun fact. Did you know that during World War II, when supplies were limited, what were wedding dresses made out of? Parachutes. If you continue to follow me, we also want to show, because we give many school tours, a victory garden, because times were scarce during World War II. Items such as food, you had to use your ration books, and to make up for that, you grew your vegetables. And as you can see, we have a real victory garden in the museum. How fun is this?
This is a two-headed calf. On January 10th, 1922, Mr. Frank Holton of Randolph, Kansas, brought this two-headed calf to the zoology department at Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas. He stated that it had been born 7 weeks prematurely and was found dead. A later examination showed that it had never breathed. Dr. Mary Harmon supervised the dissection. This mount was made by Dr. E.H. Herrick. The dissection showed that the vertical column was Y-shaped. Their cerebral vertebrae formed the two arms of the Y, and the muscles were double in the parts corresponding to the double framework. There were 2 tongues, 2 esophagi, and 2 complete stomachs, but only 1 intestine, pancreas, liver, and spleen. Where the digestive system was doubled, the matching organs were about the same size. There were 2 hearts and a single pericardium with a double set of veins and arteries similar to the hearts, but a little duality collided. The hearts were unequal in size. The smaller heart seemed to be normal, but the larger heart was abnormal. There were also 2 trachea and 2...
Over here we have a woman at work. She's working on a car, and once again it talks about the expanded roles for women. One of our permanent exhibits that we're proud of is Deborah Barnes, Miss America, Miss Pitt State, caps, our photography station, and our 8mm. This is how it all started right here. We like to have this going and show the students of how, okay, it goes from this to, and then we pull out our cell phone. And we also have our medical station set up. So if you want to donate some blood, this is where you go. This is a exhibit of our woman here. She's working hard. She's having to use her ration books. She only has a limited supply here. Our 1938 Pepsi truck, a local Pittsburgh company who's very generous and given to the community. They're going to have their Pittsburgh truck on loan to us for our theme, the 40s. This is our mining exhibit. This is a part of our Southeast culture, along with agriculture and railroading. Of course, it goes with our 40s theme with I have a real job, I work every day, I know coal will speed victory.
Here's some artifacts from the Kansas State College. Before it became Pitt State University, it was the Kansas State College. And also some exhibits here from the Pittsburg High School and the marching band and such.
Here is our newspaper exhibit, our linotype. People would come in and say, oh, I remember sitting here. My gosh, I remember doing this and getting burned. Our favorite is the mail truck. You look at this, and what do you see? Mr. Benelli was quite the comedic. When the government updated their vehicles and Mr. Benelli wanted to buy the mail truck, the Postal Service said, sure, you can buy the mail truck, but you have to change the name. You cannot leave it on. So Mr. Benelli said, okay, I'll change it from U.S. Mail to U.S. Mail. We are proud to preserve and keep the Pittsburgh Fire Department equipment in the museum, along with Pittsburgh Police equipment as well, and uniforms. We have a 40s rescue boat that the PSU Circle K Club just filled with food as a part of their service project for Wesley House. This fire truck, 1938 Peter Persh, is the oldest ladder truck this side of the Mississippi. We have the hose reel and of course the safety net. Who doesn't like to get in the stagecoach and go on a stagecoach ride? What it looks like inside of a stagecoach. Our tourists are always mesmerized by the hearse. And you can see the trap door that was used to clean out the flowers. And you can see the hair wreaths and some of the flowers. You know, back in the Victorian days, Victorians, they would actually use real hair from their loved ones to make hair wreaths, hair pins, hair brooches. In fact, we have a couple of hair wreaths in our fashion exhibit. And of course, you see all of the farming implement.
After touring the inside of the Crawford County Historical Museum, we went outside to tour the H.R. Brown General Store and the Green Oak Schoolhouse.
We're also lucky to have the H.R. Brown grocery store. Now, this store opened up in downtown Pittsburgh in 1910 and closed in 1968. At one time, there were 79 roughly stores in downtown Pittsburgh. One-room schoolhouse on the museum grounds. This is the Elm Tree Schoolhouse, named after an elm tree that was located on the school property. Now, in the days when they had the one-room schoolhouses, the teachers did not have to have a college degree. And the teachers, most of the time, were only a year older than the students themselves. Now, in the Elm Tree Schoolhouse, there were a total of 66 teachers in this schoolhouse. This schoolhouse was picked up and moved in the early 80s on this property. As you can look around, you can see the old potbelly stove in the back. It would be the teacher's responsibility to get here first. Maybe she would have an older student that would come in and help her get it going. You would see the pot on the top. Maybe she would even have some soup for the students. You can see how the desk start with small and gradually go larger.
This concludes today's episode of Legends of Kansas. I'll see you next time.